Hi, I'm Joe Shepley, Vice President and Practice Leader at Doculabs. I want to talk today about a topic that's increasingly becoming much more of a hot topic for our clients, for consumers, for the marketplace as a whole, and that's information security and information privacy, particularly PHI, PII, PCI, health information, credit card information, and personally identifiable information. What we've seen with the Home Depot, Target, Primera, CHS, Anthem, high-profile breaches, whether it's consumer credit card banking information or whether it's health information, has been an intense focus on how organizations are managing their customer, client, patient data, how they're protecting it from getting hacked, getting access by folks who shouldn't have access to it, and what they're doing in the aftermath of those attacks or those breaches. And without going into making this a technical kind of cybersecurity discussion, which is certainly important and has its place, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the people process things that we've seen out in the marketplace that you can begin to do. Because honestly, if Target and Home Depot and CHS and Anthem are getting hacked, what chance do most companies have at protecting themselves? And so what we're seeing out there is the chief information security officers, privacy officers, executives saying, look, we know that if hackers want to get in here, they will. And so if we continue to spend money on trying to stop them, we'll eventually lose that arms race. And we won't be as prepared for what happens when they do get in to minimize the risk, the damage, what happens to our patient, customer, client, and so on information once they get in. So I want to talk a little bit about that side of it. And because really all the technology in the world isn't going to help if you don't have some basic things in place. And so today I want to talk about something called a Unified Compliance Framework, or UCF. Generally, what you find at most places is that there's lots of compliance going on. They are compliant. They've been in business for many, many years and are on the right side of the law. But really, it's through sheer brute force of will and lots of superheroics. You've got compliance functions for things like high tech or NIST. You've got PHI, HIPAA. You've got financial things like SOX, you've got record keeping, you've got e-discovery and so on, all OSHA, all over the place. And often one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. And so you've got lots and lots of compliance activity, lots and lots of bodies thrown at the problem, all doing good work, all checking all the boxes to keep us compliant with regulation and so on. But two things happen with that. Because they're not coordinated, we tend to do much, much more work than we need to because there's overlaps, inefficiencies, duplication of effort. And two, we can't get as strategic about compliance as we'd like, because really we're running around with roller skates and clipboards and pencils just trying to keep up, let alone step back, take a breath, and say, how can we evolve compliance for future needs and to be 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever that might be, to stay competitive, to stay ahead of the curve, to anticipate what might be next from a compliance perspective. So building a UCF, while it's complex, it's got a lot of moving parts, it can take a year, 2 years, sometimes more, depending upon how complex your organization is. I want to just spend a minute talking about the high-level approach and what it is that it does. And in that respect, a UCF is very simple. It's essentially a matrix that says, on the one hand, we've got columns for all of the different regulatory domains, SOX, record keeping, information privacy, HIPAA, so on, whatever they might be. And then across those in the rows are all the different things that we need to do to be compliant with those. And so what are the regulations that we're supposed to meet? What are some of the industry standards? What are the policies we have placed? What are the procedures that map to those policies? What are the guidelines that map to those procedures that map to those policies? What are the resources we have against it? What are some of the controls we have in place from strategy and vision all the way down through training and communication and everything in between? And this first step at an organization of finding out all of the compliance domains that you're beholden to, listing out all the regulations for each of those domains that we're subject to, and then listing out all the activities that are going on today and the resources applied to them at our organization, and just stepping back for a second and taking a look at it and seeing, man, we've got overlap here, or man, we've got gaps here, is a great first step at just knowing what you've got to be doing in compliance, what you are doing in compliance, and sets the stage for, one, taking a more coordinated approach, two, becoming more efficient, and getting more done with fewer resources. And 3, giving yourself the breathing room to be strategic about compliance. And hopefully, getting out ahead of the challenges we're facing in the wider world and industry so that we're not the next Primera, Anthem, Target, Home Depot. So that's a quick introduction to the topic. Please, hope you found it valuable, and please come back for deeper dives into what a UCF looks like, the steps you take to build it, and some of the technical challenges and governance challenges in maintaining it. Thank you.